All right, now we know how to serve static content. Let's look at how we implement dynamic GET servers. All right, so we remember that a request from a client can come in. It can have different HTTP methods attached to it, such as GET or POST. All right, so in this case, we want to look at how we serve dynamic content based on a GET request. All right, and you're going to be building servers or web servers that handle dynamic content way more often than you'll probably implement servers that serve static content, because that's why the web has improved so much, because everything is dynamic. All right. So this dynamic content could just be, like HTML files with dynamic content, snippets. We could be returning JSON data, as you saw in your JSON server in the book, or any other types of data that we want to return. All right. Now, in order to serve a GET request, what we need to do is implement our request handler that's going to populate or dynamically populate the data we want to send back to the client. All right, we're going to then use that to write out our response, and then we're going to finally send the response back to the server by calling end. All right, so let's take a look at some code. All right, so once again, we're going to require good old HTTP module. All right, here we're creating a simple array called messages that stores three items. One is hello world, one is from a basic Node.js server, and another one is take luck. All right, here's our code to create our server. All right, so we create our server, and we tell it to listen on port 8080. All right, so we're listening on port 8080. All right, so what are we going to do? We're going to write out our response here. So there's our callback. All right, and we're going to write out our response. In this case, we're going to set the header to text HTML. All right, we're going to write 200 to the header, which is okay. All right, and then we're actually going to construct our HTML. So what are we doing? We're writing out the head and the title. All right, now we're going to write body tag. All right, so see, we're generating HTML as strings. All right, and we're going to just create a loop that writes our messages in H1 tags in here. All right, and then finally we're going to end it with body.html. And we're going to send the whole response back to the client. So basically, we just created an HTML page right here containing those messages. All right. Now, let's run it and see how we can access it. All right. So I'm going to execute it here. All right. So HTTP underscore server get. All right. Now it's listening on port 8080. So to send a request from our client, let's go to the browser real quick. And we'll just go to, since it's listening on localhost 8080, we'll just specify 8080. And so the server should be oh no. Oh, two L's here. Let me take out an L. The server is going to be listening for a request on 8080. So we're sending a request to 8080, and looky there, we got back the HTML page that our server generated. We got it back as a response, and the browser rendered that response from the server. All right, take care.